Introducing The Live Shopping Era Has Arrived, moderated by Todd Spangler, business editor, Variety.
Hello, hello. Thank you, everybody, for coming today. And we're talking about live shopping off video, which has been a thing in the media and entertainment world for decades. I'm sure it's now really happening. And here with us today is Sandie Hawkins. You just joined the company as CEO. This is week number...
I think today is my month anniversary.
Well, all right. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So for those who don't know, tell us what TalkShopLive is in a nutshell, and what was most compelling to you about the company when Brian Moore, the co-founder, who's now executive chairman, when he was recruiting you to say, hey, come run this company?
Sure. So for those of you that aren't familiar with my background, prior to joining TalkShopLive, I was at TikTok and helped launch TikTok Shop in the US. And when I was at TikTok, I saw live shopping and I saw what it was and how big it was in China. The problem that I saw with live shopping, though, is the way it works right now is when you go live, you're stuck on one platform. And what TalkShopLive really helps to do is, as a creator, as somebody who's making content, you can free that content now through TalkShopLive, so you can publish that content and syndicate it out to any publisher and to a lot of different platforms from one place.
Yeah, and so your player goes across, and it now goes across YouTube, which
yes,
is a big,
it now goes across YouTube
deal.
as well.
So it's Meta, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok as well?
We're not on TikTok yet, hopefully soon.
Yeah.
But the idea is that you can use a single screen to have those conversations with the people who are watching lives. Because one of the things that's so important with live is that you're interacting with your audience.
Right. And so it's a more urgent type of selling proposition, really, isn't it?
This is the example that I use. It's not the greatest one if you've experienced this, but you remember you used to go into the mall and you'd walk through the fragrance section, and the women would come at you and like spray the different scents on you. That's kind of what live shopping is, but they're trying to get you to stop and say, oh, wait, I like that one. Can you tell me more? And so, but now, because they know your name, they can stop you and say, oh, hey, Sandie, you asked a question. You want to hear more about this particular part of the item, and you can have those conversations now through live shopping.
So, as you mentioned, in Asia, it's a really big deal, and they're even, shopping influencers, right, who are celebrities of a sort in their own right. Why haven't we seen that, in the U.S., maybe in other areas, and what would it take for that to happen?
I think there's a few things. Number one, live shopping has been around in the U.S. for a long time. I'm sure most people have seen it on television before. But seeing it now online is still a relatively new experience. But what's interesting is 70% of adults in the U.S. have watched live shopping. I think it's now just a comfort level of, how do you get them to buy from it? And it takes different type of creator to build short form video content versus going live. Because short form content, you can still curate that, you can still edit that, but when you're going live, it's for a longer period of time, and that's who you are for that 30 minutes, 60 minutes. And what I say is, I consider myself to have a pretty big personality, but even when you're going live, that personality has to go from a 10 to 100. And you have to be constantly engaging.
So they have to eat some espresso beans before
A lot of them.
What are specific, rules of thumb that are predictors of success in a platform like TalkShopLive?
So I think the first thing is as a creator, you need to be compelling. Meaning you need to either have a product that you're selling that people want. So we're fortunate where you saw through the sizzle reel, we've been able to work with a lot of top talent. But you have to have a person that people are engaging with. So just because you're a top talent doesn't mean that you can have a conversation with folks. We've been very fortunate. We've worked with Kenny Chesney, and he went on, and he was having great conversations with people through his live. They were asking him questions, and through that, we sold 30% of his first week book sales through live shopping on his social channels and publisher distribution. And so it's really just about, are you truly an engaging individual that you're having a one-way conversation? Can you be comfortable with that?
Mm-hmm. Why is social commerce taking off now? I mean, I think you've talked a little bit about it, but what are the ingredients that are now in place that are making this real?
I think the first thing is creators are now people like everyone in this room, right? I don't know, we can do a quick show of hands of how many people have made a piece of content that exists in a video format on a platform. Right? All of us are creators. And what happens is you build a piece of content and you have people who like it and enjoy it. And then you start to see a lot of the same type of content. And pretty soon you are looking at creators that you see content from over and over again as they're your experts. They're the people who you really believe in. And so now your word of mouth are creators. Instead of going to a handwritten review on a website, you're going to say, you know what, I'm just going to go and see if somebody's written a video about it, because then I can actually see it working. I know for me personally, if I want to go look up a restaurant, I'll go on one of the video platforms. I do choose TikTok. And I'll look up restaurants to eat because I want to see the food. And I want somebody to eat it, and then I want them to tell me about it. I don't want to read about it. I actually want to see it. And that's why social commerce is so powerful, and that's what live shopping does. So you can imagine from a live shopping perspective, you're sitting there and you're having somebody show you this water. And I take a sip of the water, and I'm like, oh, this is really great. And then, Todd, you can say, hey, Sandie, can you tell me why it tastes better than this other water? And then I can actually tell you why. Yeah. And then you can make a decision of whether or not it's right for you.
So that audience interaction, I'm assuming that's a big part of the draw.
That is a huge part of it, because you're part of that moment in time.
Right. So as we saw, you worked with Dolly Parton, Paul McCartney, Sabrina Carpenter, a whole list of celebrities. What's the process by which you do some sort of matchmaking with brands, with creators?
So we're very fortunate that we've worked with a lot of celebrities. We have relationships with book publishers and with music labels where they're coming on TalkShopLive to launch their new book, or they're coming back on TalkShopLive to launch their new album. And we've had a lot of success with that. On the creator side, what we try to do is we have brands that will come to us. We work very closely with Walmart, and they'll have a live coming up, and they'll say, what creators do you think will work well? And so we'll bring them a few different creators that they can choose from, and then we can help them if they need to produce those lives, or they can do it themselves through our platform.
And what determines what the best match is? Is it, just a gut feeling kind of thing, or is it,
To be fair, it depends on the brand.
Yeah.
Right? Some brands have a lot of different criteria of the types of creators that they deem to be representative of their brand. But when we try to match brands with a creator, it's really about, do they have the personality to be engaging with the audience as a live shopping talent?
Yeah.
Right? And then, do they like the brand? Do they use it? Have they heard about it before? Because if you're going to give me something for the first time and tell me to go live, it's not going to be very good.
Let me ask you, so each of these platforms, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, they have native shopping tools embedded in them. What does TalkShopLive do that's different? And apart from that, are you competing with those platforms in a way?
I don't think we're competing with them because we're helping to add content to all of those platforms. What we're doing is really focusing on allowing creators and I'll say publishers as well, anybody who's making content, to be able to push out their live to all of those channels from one location through the TalkShopLive interface. So as a content creator right now, if you want to go live on YouTube and you want to go live on Facebook and Instagram, on TikTok, I can tell you're going to have like 5 different phones in front of you.
Is that literally what people have done?
Yes.
Oh.
They'll have multiple phones, multiple screens, because what's important in the live is you have to be able to react to the live chat. And if you can't react to the live chat, you're not interacting with the audience. And each platform has its own chat.
That's like walking and chewing gum and singing at the same time.
Something.
Yeah, it's complicated. What would you say are like misconceptions about this category? What do people get wrong?
I think the first thing is they think it's really hard, and it's not. You just have to try it. When you have a platform that you can use that syndicates it out to everywhere, we're taking away the risk of having to test platform by platform. And I think that's the other hard part is where do you start? And with something like a TalkShopLive, you can go and test everything at once and figure out what works for you. The second thing is when engage with the chat. I think what most people do is they think they're going to go through a script and go through exactly what they want to say. That is not what a live is. That's what a taped VOD content is.
Right.
If you're going live, be prepared to interact with the chat and ask the audience questions, right? People are watching you. Ask them what they want to see. So if you're showing them something, what do they want to see next? Get them to engage, because the more engaged they are, the more apt they are to buy. I'd say the last thing is live shopping is disrupting the purchase cycle. You have people that are coming into a live that may have never heard of your brand before, and so you're building brand awareness with them. You also have people who have heard of your brand, and now they're getting to see it, and they're going to purchase it from that live. So you can't look at live as it didn't deliver sales for me. You should look at live as, here's great content that I've built, and we have a product that allows you to cut that live up so that you can have content that lives on as additional content that you can put out to your socials. You can use as advertising because you know what the most engaging moments are. And then you can use that for the people who were in that brand awareness stage to keep them engaged with the brand. And for the people who purchased, you can now build out your CRM and start to retarget them to buy more.
Now, you mentioned the Kenny Chesney thing where he sold a good number of books.
Yes.
When something overperforms, in a campaign, why does that happen? Is it just that there's already awareness about somebody's product coming out and people are super excited about it?
When you're dealing with a celebrity, a lot of times it's what's their fan base look like. All right, and if they have a very engaged fan base and that celebrity is very engaging, they're going to sell more than they think they are. I think what's really interesting is we've worked with Dolly Parton before, and she was selling her cookbook. And she sold her cookbook through TalkShopLive, and she did on the traditional home, called linear shopping. And she sold more through TalkShopLive than she did through the traditional shopping. And it's because you're having those real-time conversations, and it can be more engaging.
Is this a generational thing? In other words, are Gen Zers more likely to be into this idea than people my age? Not to date myself.
I think you're dating me with you. I always say all the trends and everything are going to start with Gen Z and Gen Alpha right now. When it takes off, it's going to hit all of us too. My daughter is a big consumer on YouTube, and she has seen a lot of live shopping. She has seen a lot of short form video, and she watches a ton of makeup tutorials because I don't know how to do makeup. And so that's where she learns everything from. If she could buy at that moment in time, she would. Thankfully, she does not have a credit card. But I think that's going to be the process that we all have, because it's easy and it's seamless. If you see something you like, why can't you buy it just then? Why do you have to go to a different store?
Yeah. And back to your point, I mean, the lead here, the attraction is that it's a kind of entertainment. Right?
It is. It's entertaining.
You're not tuning into a shopping network per se, right? You're getting an entertaining experience, yes?
Yeah, and if you're watching somebody that you as a person like, and they say, hey, Sandie, thanks for joining my live. All of a sudden, you're having like a fangirl moment, and you may actually need to buy the product, even if you weren't planning on it, because you were just in that moment. And now you've bought something live, and you've broken that first hurdle, and you're going to do it again.
And by the way, so when you're getting thousands of comments and questions, how is that moderated? Do you provide, a way to surface the top questions kind of thing?
So it comes through in a live chat. So through our platform, you can see everything that's there.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can come in very fast, and then you have somebody who's screening for the questions or the comments you want to respond to. Other times, it doesn't come in as fast, and you're asking people for feedback. But it's the same thing as you're having a conversation.
Right. But at some point, you could maybe apply AI to
help with the chat.
Separate the wheat from the chaff, so to speak.
You could, and you could use AI to figure out what parts of what you're saying in real time are the most engaging, so you can keep saying those types of things.
Wow, okay. And lastly, we're out of time, but Sandie, what's something you recently purchased online because of a creator recommendation or something?
So since it was the holidays, embarrassingly, it was something for my daughter. And I have no idea what it is, but have any of you heard of the Day hair cream that gives you a good slick back? Somebody said they were wearing it now. That was one of them.
Okay.
She saw it online and she told me about it, so I bought it for her.
All right. Once she gets her credit card, watch out, folks.
Exactly.
Well, Sandie, great to speak with you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Todd.